it's a privilege to contribute to everything that can be said and should be said in relation to the long period of imprisonment that Chelsea Manning faces, and to comment on the extraordinary irrationality in which what is assumed should be the norm is that right-thinking people should agree with criminality, state criminality, and do nothing about it. That's the proposition that we're asked to accept. And we're asked to accept that it's only the wrong-thinking person, a person who is deluded, who wants to blow the whistle on what the state does that is truly terrifyingly wrong. And what Chelsea Manning bravely did, extraordinarily did, was itself based upon another assumption that ought to be logical. And that assumption is that once right-minded people hear about what is wrong, that they in turn will be motivated, once informed, to do something about it. And so we are wrestling with a dilemma in this case of wrong assumptions at every level. And instead, what we have is a brave and principled individual telling the truth, who is instead being punished in a truly dreadful way, and has been punished already in a way that is utterly barbaric and medieval. In the past, through history, the whistleblowers, the truth-tellers, have been hanged, executed, burned at the stake in order to deter others. But ironically, through her courage, what Chelsea Manning has achieved so far is actually to present the enormity of what has been done, how the American state and its army was executing unlawfully civilians, how the rulers of the world were in large part corrupt and worse, brutal. Her revelations triggered, in effect, the Arab Spring, and deposed first, contributed substantially to deposing the Tunisian regime. The consequences of those brave actions have, despite the imprisoning of the brave individual who took those steps, despite that, consequences have been of enormous importance and value to the world. But at the same time, the punishment that has already been imposed has been extraordinary. To keep a young person, a vulnerable person, in isolation, to strip them naked, put them on suicide watch, so-called, keep them in severe solitary confinement, enough to send any normal person who has all the advantages of support in society, send any person out of their mind, was designed to punish and crush. But to have read the statement that she gave as to her motivation for doing this is to be inspired at what it takes to stand up against the enormity of a state, in particular the American state. So what do we do, having the benefit of the information that's been exposed, having the benefit of knowledge of what's being done to this individual? Should we do as large parts of the American state have done, to discount what's been said and to criminalise the person who said it? Do we discount that on the basis that this was a person who was on her own and acting for personal reasons that are unjustified and criminal? Or do we say instead, this person did something quite extraordinary that actually has changed the course of the 21st century and has told us for the first time the enormity of the way the state carries out surveillance and effectively criminalisation of us all. It was an act designed to draw attention to the brutality of war, to bring an end to war, to allow us information that helps us to understand each other. For all of that, we should recognise this as a person not to be punished, but to be applauded. And for that we support in every way we can her and her family. And please know that there are hundreds of thousands of people in the world who are grateful.